Hey peeps, launch the Outer Worlds, see what we think of the beginning of it. Wow, that's a lot of frames a second. You can tell this is single player because the game volume is coming through my chat volume adjustment. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's fine. Pushing player 0. Nope. Looks like full screen non-window doesn't work. Oh, yeah, revert it. Okay. Alright, so we can do controller.
Why stay earthbound when prosperity awaits you in the stars? Come to Halcyon, the only colony on the edge of the frontier, owned and operated by corporations. A trip of 10 short years will feel like mere minutes, thanks to the comfort and safety of your very own hibernation chamber. You'll wake up in a perfect society designed to maximize your productivity with guaranteed full employment. With only a minor term of service, you will become the master of your own destiny when you go out of this world to the Halcyon colony.
hundreds of thousands of colonists left to drift out here forever, just to keep from damaging the board's bottom line. Disgraceful.
The best build for this is, let's see here. So what do we want to do? Don't want melee. Intelligence and perception to be high.
A genius! And the board was going to leave you to rot. I bet you could see right through the board's lies.
Carrying capacities with strength. Be able to sneak if you snipe them. Extra headshot beats my damage. It's critical damage.
Muscular atrophy is practically a hobby in this colony.
Reload speed.
Slippery fingers. You'll need to be careful handling those chemicals. Science is also intelligence. Should help. Good. Long guns, medicals. On strength too, so a lot of these overlap, it looks like. Hack is in both. Dodge, heavy weapons, long guns. So we probably want... An eye for detail. I bet you wrote some thorough reports.
Bonus to extra headshot and spot damage. No.
This one's smarter than my navigation computer.
Okay. I think that about covers it. Alright. Next. So, points available are 2. So we probably want... We got 2 points available for the skill tree. And a lot of stuff. Gaining health. Long guns.
A gunslinger. Oh, they're going to tell stories about you from here to Hephaestus.
A gunslinger and a smooth talker I like. But, inspiration. Let's maybe choose to start off. Long guns, sneak and silent. So long guns. And I will start with dialogue. Second a lot. No, I guess attack is pretty high too. Really, I got so good. Range is doing well. What else am I good at? Dodge is okay. Dialogue is good. Yeah, just 21. Science. Let's see that.
You wrote that paper on breeding a cystipig with 30% more tumors.
Great. Okay, so we're doing good on those. That's all we get for now. Aptitude. Persuade. Okay, select a create aptitude for your character who possesses. Chapter responses to small bonus.
At least you know the value of money.
Only get 1. Okay. Factory worker. Sushi. Effort service technician, really? Determination. Wire spooler. Conveyor operator. Food additive tester. Yes. Talks about materials. Safety inspector. Test tools. Let's go back and see what we need. So science is +1. Tinking costs less, but I'd rather have persuade. No. something that's close. Persuade is already at that scenario there. I'm gonna have to go with science.
I wonder what experiments you were subjected to.
Choices. Six icons. Holy cow. Brow horizontal. Dude. Spend an hour just creating a character. Sparkles a little bit. Makeup, huh? Dirt. No dirt required. Next. Okay, what's your name? Okay. Skills. Skills. Summary. A lot of science.
Looks to be your lucky day, my friend.
Please power down your engines and prepare to be...
Not likely, bootlickers. Initiate skip jump.
Status. Structural integrity down 25%. Power levels down 10%. Skip drive
Shit.
inoperable.
I'll fix it, buddy. I got a lot of science going on.
Ah, there you are. Wondering what's going on, eh? Bit of bad news there, I'm afraid. Your colony ship was inexplicably knocked out of skip space and forced to complete its journey at sublight speeds. This means that you and every other colonist on the Hope have been in suspended animation for 70 years, give or take. Normally, reviving someone after so long leads to some quite horrifying results. It's called explosive cell death, but it's really more of a liquefaction. Something wrong? Oh, yes, well, not to worry. I've pumped your body full of a special concoction I devised to keep you from dying so horrifically. Hopefully at all, but I guess we'll see, yes? Unfortunately, I used the last of my chemical supplies saving you. I know it's a lot to ask, but I must have your help securing more if we're to save the rest of your fellow colonists. I'd see it done myself, of course, but the board has a sizable bounty on my head. Now, my ship is inoperative, but I've managed to hire a smuggler to help you out. He'll be... Oh, I see we're in position. Good luck!
Clearly, I'm a smuggler. We are the Hope.
Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Ah, there you are. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, the smuggler. His name is Hawthorne, and he should be waiting for you at the landing site. He's to be your chauffeur, so to speak. Not to worry. I'm told he's a specialist. Dashing gunslinger, one-of-a-kind ship, that sort of thing. You'll like him, I'm sure. I've also outfitted you with a simple wireless monitor, so I can track your progress. I'll check in with you as soon as you land. Good luck. All the colonists are counting on you.
Should be close by. What in law's name? Is that him? Oh, that idiot. I told him to plant the beacon and move away, not stand there holding it. Oh well, no sense in letting his ship go to waste. Hawthorne won't mind you taking his ship. Better you than the board, huh? Not sure I trusted the fellow. Might have gone after the bounty on my head. Shame about the whole squashing thing. Nasty way to go.
No slide.
now. You've been frozen for a while. There's bound to be unforeseen side effects.
Great, thanks.
Hey, you, come here. You've tried the best now. Now try the rest. Spacer's choice. Oh, law, that stings. We were out on patrol. I saw a marauder camp up in the hills. Thought I could take him. Then my gun misfired. Right through my side. I mean, what are the odds of that,
You
right?
suck at life,
Just
bro.
barely scraped by with my life. Looks like the bleeding stopped. I owe you one. Hope you don't mind me omitting this little exchange for gibbering, flesh-eating, law-breaking, unemployed lunatics with guns. Some hullhead grounded their spacecraft out in the open. That's a real good way to attract marauders. See those canisters by the entrance? Marauders come sniffing around in here, and I can take them all out with a single shot. Not bad, huh? Yeah, okay. You look like you know your way around a gun. Got some spare ammo, not counting the bullet in my side. Here, you can have my saber too, for patching me up and all. All Spacer's Choice weapons are now 30% less likely to malfunction. You've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's Choice. Yes, nailed it that time. The Hope? Is that some sort of fancy new drug? Are you with Auntie Cleo or something? Don't take this the wrong way or nothing, but I'm not allowed to fraternize with Cleo workers. You hit your head or something? You're in Emerald Vale. We're a Spacer's Choice community. Edgewater's a little ways down. Prettiest place in the Vale. Be sure to stop by a provisioner's for a can of our famous salt tuna.
You got anything on here? Alright, well, that's next. Switch guns.
Damn it, my ears! Oh, what just happened? Can you hear me? What in the hell? This...
To accomplish return from being revived, after extended hibernation, your brain processes time differently. Press the tactile time dilation button slows down the world, giving you time to think as well as take action. You have limited time in this mode. Staying still drains your TTD meter very slowly, while moving and attacks drain it faster. The TTD meter refreshes slowly over time. Right bumper. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Your hacking lock still help me too close. This is where I meant to be. Good. What was that? 73 centimeters. Okay. Journal. Quest type. Right trigger codex. Skills. Loot. Lockpick. Skills. Stuff. Oh, okay. So I need more of those little donuts in order to get in there. Gotcha. Oh, get out of here. Except I need to get back up there either.
Hey! Get over here before you get yourself killed!
So,
Don't know where you came from, stranger, but you best keep your head down. There's marauders hereabouts. And worse, landing gall on that rung leech. Landing in the Vale without using an official Spacer's Choice, I'd slap him with a fine if it weren't for all these marauders shambling about. Really? How is he? Shouldn't have done that. Spacer's Choice family ain't authorized to receive medical. We'll see him back to Edgewater. Just as soon as I cross these marauders off with the swift, cost-efficient... I just, you know, need a couple of winks to catch my breath. Stretch my leg. Well, sometimes. Management's real good at cost-benefit analysis. You know what? You're right. It's time we cross those marauders off, find whoever owns that ship, and file a full report.
Here we go.
there we go.
I just earned a fine bonus. This is gonna take a lot of paperwork.
Please be informed that this vessel contains no valuable plunder.
Let's take a look around first.
Intruders are not authorized to access the Unreliable's amenities, including the cargo hold's workbench. Marauder, please be informed that is for your health. Unauthorized access of spacefaring vessels is a crime. Please I am Ada, the autonomous digital astrogator of this vessel. Please be informed that I am authorized to use violent retribution against unwanted solicitors. Please return any misappropriated equipment and exit this vessel in an order. I detect an elevated heart rate, indicating dishonesty. Please prepare yourself for lethal deterrent. Jettison procedures initiated. Disengage in airlocks. If you are still here, my deception protocols have failed. I have been This vessel is the registered property of Captain Alex Hawthorne. I am incapable of accepting orders from anyone other than Captain Alex Hawthorne. I deduce from the tone of your voice that Captain Hawthorne failed to meet you at the designated location. I understand. I will require some time to process this information. Thank you for your patience and for your honesty. I am programmed to take orders exclusively from Captain Hawthorne. If I accept your orders, then you must be Captain Hawthorne. Do you understand? Well done, Captain Hawthorne. I see your powers of deductive reasoning remain intact. Unfortunately, our engine is currently inoperable. Our main drive suffered a critical power failure, and we were forced to make an emergency landing. The main drive's power regulator has been irreparably damaged and must be astutely observed. However, the probability of locating a power regulator within a worker settlement falls within acceptable parameters of certainty. High-capacity power regulators are sometimes employed in the electrical networks of worker settlements. I have taken the liberty of printing you a new Captain's Identity cartridge. Please try not to lose it this time. This cartridge identifies you, Alex Hawthorne, as the registered proprietor and captain of the Unreliable. Do you understand? Best of luck in your search for a power regulator. Try to stay alive this time. The navigation console is offline at this time, Captain. If your equipment is in need...
Let's see. Every time you level up, you learn skill points to spend on improving your skills, depending on skill point. And a core skill, improve all of the specialized skills in that group. We can add points directly to specialized skill. Lock bonuses occur every 20 points. So if I'm not close to one, I'm going to open up another one. Oh, I got 10 points available. Interesting. Leadership. Leadership. What else has stuff added to it? Stealth. I'm not really close for any of those. What am I close for? Got it. Lockpicks. Lockpicks is not close. Like 19. Just got it. No. Probably need to go with tech first. Or, no. Ranged. Handguns, long guns to 50 points each. So improve your weapons and armor on the workbench. Field repair weapons and armor in the inventory. I already have some good stuff there. Range. That's all I could do.
Need of repair or modification?
Not yet. I need to... Five. Adjusted skill value. Oh, I can make something. No, I can't make anything that way. Not this way. Yeah, I can do something. Made that. Good. Long guns. Okay, good. Tech. Dialogue. I just got something. Okay. So that's 40. Gotta apply this. Right? Yeah, I should apply this. Why does it go to 40? I got that though. Okay, well, I don't need any more persuade right now. There's 5 perks. Good. Perks. Long guns, good. 42. I don't know why it's hibernation suit. Determination. Okay. I got persuade. It's good. Oh. Select a perk. Perks available 1. After some unchecked adjustment work versus tools before accurate. Weapons and armor than most people. Okay. Alright. Okay. Apply. Alright. New step in the journal. Item broken, item repair. I should be able to repair it in my inventory. Red stick. Add to junk. Junk. Alright. Okay. Can't Can't tinker with that. Can I tinker with this? Nope. Can't tinker with any of those things. Light trigger. What about armor? Nope. Can't tinker with armor. Install mod. I have any mods for it? Okay. Accept. We'll repair this. Don't have any more. We break this down. Break that down. Alright. Everything is fully repaired that I need. Do not have enough bits. Well, I guess I can. Block. Now I need to get a power converter. Is there anything else?
Due to catastrophic power failure, all doors will remain on security lockdown.
Thanks for that. Oh, get out of here.
The ship's engines cannot be powered until a replacement regulator has been properly installed. Want to be a brand new you? Try out our respecification machine. Alex installed it himself, right before he died.
So you can respec if you come to the point where you're stuck.
These surveillance devices allow me to monitor you constantly. Please ignore them.
Say, this wouldn't happen to be your ship, would it? Because you sure walked in it like it was your ship. And if this ship is yours, well, mister, you owe Spacer's Choice a hefty fine. I'm afraid we gotta dock your pay. Yeah, fair point. I'll let it go this time. If you're looking to help us out with our marauder problem, talk to Constable Reyes over in Edgewater. Edgewater's not too far. Just follow the road east of here, over past the cemetery. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to inspect the crime scene before I make my report.
I don't know if I should get myself killed this early. It's the marauders. Come on. Please get this one. Take the shortcut. Hey, Constable Reyes. Just destroyed the guys that you were asked me to destroy.
Whoa, hey, where'd you come from?
Beats working at the cannery.
There you go. Scarlet soul.
If you're falling sick, I don't want you near me.
Don't worry.
Strictly here's the space for sharing to help. Schedule sick leave with the foreman. Be considered to members. Past hours must be once saved to the company. What invigorates the spirit?
The grease monkey, Argo? Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself. You were saying, Miss Holcomb.
It's just what Bess needs is a proper refurbish. I can bandage her up and what all, but she's just old. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll do better.
And I do wish you'd stop referring to our cannery as Bess. Personification of company property is strictly contrary to the Spacer's Choice Code of Conduct. My apologies. I am not in the habit of allowing my guests to witness such a row. Now, what can I do for you? I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform. Yes, so it dawns on me. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through. I understand. Your business is your own. Nonetheless, you are welcome in our little outpost. Outsiders are a rare sight in the Vale. If you are a freelancer, then I have use for you. There is pay to be earned, or supplies to tide you over, as you prefer.
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. 1. The geothermal plant was built by our owners, Spacer's Choice. Lit up the whole Vale once upon a time. Most of the Vale is now abandoned. All that power is going to waste. I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there. The people living in the botanical labs. They're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home. Good Lord, no, I don't want you killing anyone, least of all them. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town. Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership. That reason was me. I asked too much and pushed too hard. But I am ready to make amends if they are willing to return to the fold. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately.
My dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help.
I don't care about you.
Don't make me report you to Mr. Thompson.
We better clear out of Mr. Thompson's office before we talk.
Already out, bro.
We better clear out. Hey, mister, can we talk? Sorry. Can we talk? Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just, Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale. Oh, he ain't a liar. He believes every word he says. It's just, he doesn't always get where other folk are talking from. To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of Miss McDevitt. Oh, gosh, no. She was a real important person. A flavorist. Made all the food taste decent. She used to work up in the big office with Mr. Thompson. All I know is she left after her son died. It was a real... Life's hard here. Especially for them that don't fit in so well. We're one big Spacer's Choice family, but every family's got the one the rest whisper about. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is. The mission's on the east side of town. You can't miss it, on account of it being the only clean thing. Thanks, mister. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways. In a jiff. Heading back.
I'm sorry. I'll just be a minute.
I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto, at your service. Or Vicar Max, if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare...
Just tagging along. Vicar just...
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Not to put too fine a point on it, but your choice of wardrobe is not... Also, you lack the distinctive worker gaze. Usually either a deadening behind the eyes, or in some rare cases, a wild-eyed frenzy. Pretty universal here. Except for Ms. Holcomb, who, for some reason, doesn't seem to have much to...
It's just... There's more to it all than numbers. Sorry.
Oh, nothing could be further from the truth. I'm simply bemoaning the level of spiritual awareness in this town. Yes, but there are few who hear me in this I must double my efforts to elevate my flock. These are good, hard-working people here. Yes, and thank you for pointing it out. It is wrong of me to succumb to distress. This place could be so much... They who are not satisfied with their work are satisfied with nothing. No? How about, work fortifies the spirit. True exhaustion awaits idle hands. Selling? No. It is free for all who seek it. I'm sorry you don't find these tried and true words of wisdom to your liking. Have you? These people need something. Anything they can grasp to survive. Delving into the metaphysical minutiae of the grand plan would be nonsense to them, if not worse. My apologies.
Yeah.
The townsfolk are having a tough time of it. And it's been difficult for me to enrich their lives. They are good people. It is just...
But what? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in sync... I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do? Depriving them of safety from the... I can see why that... Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk. They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our spacers. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice? Astute. But I am here, not in the deserter camp. So that's not a variable I can account for. Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold. If it were as easy as a few soothing words in the right ears, I'm sure it would have been done already. If you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your way to the geothermal plant. It is not... The marauders I met when I ventured outside the walls might agree with you. Bastards snuck up on me while I was dutifully hunting for a banned book in a collector's library. Barely escaped with my life. But you see, one of the reasons I transferred here was to get my hands on... If you managed to acquire it for me, I'd pay quite a handsome... It's a handwritten journal. A faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Thank you. If you retrieve it...
There we go. More stuff, huh? Thanks, there what I use. So I can fast travel maybe to those two places. That's where I am. points available. Alright, so I 10 skill points. Got 40 on that. 30 doesn't get you anything. So I need to put them into 40. Okay, I got 6 left. 6 get some stuff. Not enough. 6 dodge. I need to persuade more. Persuade. Keep that. There's 6 left. Put this somewhere. Ranged. No, because I get 40 on that too. That's 40 on there. Unlock third drug mixing slot inhaler. So 3 left. Anything else? Abandon is hard to believe. Theories are actions based upon the system 7. Except for Monday, Ultimate is a whole portal system. Spirit mankind. Same way you came in. We'll go out that way. There's the entrance. Okay. Just wasting this time, huh? But you gotta maximize your stuff here. We're over a hooligan. How many are there? 2. There's only 2.
Right, here we go!
Find
coming!
you!
Bouncing off! Easy.
Inventory. This is better than what I got. 4, yes it is. 4, 4, 3, 16, good. It's a no for the revolver. Why? Because he has 6 light. Special effect knockback. This one. This one. Okay. Hey, consume. Be right back. Okay, guy. It's okay. Little bed right there. Alright, we're back. Let's head to the next thing here. Deliver, read. Come now. The power. I'll talk to them first. Let them know the power's going out. And there's nothing they can do that'll stop it. I do know that soon I can stop by the tavern and get some more. Okay, let's see. $2.15. Nice. I didn't do that.
Move along, stranger. We don't want any trouble. Yeah, go ahead and ignore the lady.
Oh gosh, it's so pretty.
Shoot it.
If you're hungry, there's meat turning on the spit outside. If you're bearing illness, find a place to lay your head down and I'll fetch you a poultice. Whatever your troubles with Edgewater, leave them at the gates and be welcomed here. Any questions, dear? I have been called that, among other things. Green Thumb, grandmother, the strange old lady who keeps flowers. But yes, Adelaide will do just fine.
Excuse me, Miss McDevitt? Sorry, it's just... You got such pretty trees in here.
Why, thank you. You're Robert's girl, aren't you? I remember when you were but a sprout. Thomas speaks of you often. Are you staying long? You should try some of my tobaccorn tea. I brew it in an old spittoon, but it's been cleaned. No, dear. The garden belongs to us all. Life is the gift of the universe, and the universe yields its bounty equally, absent of prejudice. The soil around the Vale went sour years ago, but I found a way to sweeten it back up. The secret recipe is a little bit of elbow grease, a dash of love, and a heaping pile of special fertilizer. A home for anyone who's ever turned their backs on Edgewater. A home for those of us with nowhere left to go. So like the spores of the puffball, cast on the wind and alighting on fresh soil. It is an unpleasant story, dear. But the short of it is that sometimes one wakes up and realizes the place that was once her home for much of her life has changed. The home in which we spent our lives has left us behind, and so... Reed Thompson, you here on behalf of that cold-eyed reptile? Let's hear it. What's Reed's idea of peace, then? Make amends. Spare me. Only thing Reed knows how to make is a mess. Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. I and my own are living just fine out here by ourselves. He would do such a thing. The question is, why would you agree to his plans? Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship parts, you ought to rip them out of the cannery's guts and leave us be. If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater and toward our end of the grid. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that odious cannery. Seems the sort of thing a hero would do. You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers laboring their lives away at the cannery, living off whatever scrap Spacer's choice throws them. You know that's true, don't you, Ms. Holcomb? Your father died of overwork. His heart gave out.
He was tired all the time, sure, but he was old, ma'am, and he raised me all by his lonesome.
Look what they did to this child. Lost her family to the company, and still she defends them.
I'm all right. I ain't so fragile.
That was unkind of me. I'm sorry, dear. Life in Edgewater grinds to a halt. The cannery shuts down, workers desert in droves, and our own little camp grows and thrives. You bring power to Reed's town and you'll be killing us. Reed knows it. He's counting on it. I trust you will listen to your conscience.
These people want to fight me.
Oh, that's Thomas. He used to follow me around before he left the cannery.
Keep your wits about you, friend.
else is on here? Stuff I can't use. Start. I don't see anything like that. Where's that camera at?
Okay, gone quiet.
If you're hungry, Stefan's got supplies.
You hungry? We got canid ribs, canid flank, canid snout too. Something I can help you with? Fresh off the limb, and that includes canid meat. Something I can help you with? Fresh off the limb, and that...
Wow, that's expensive. 200 ain't bad. It's got 9 armor. Wow, wow. I don't have jack stuff that I want. You sell your junk. I need to get a new quest. Out of the table. So they have stuff. Probably killed them. It's on there. That's where I gotta go. Around through here. Nope, that's on the end of the village. I'll pull it out. Zerg camp will die. Or not Zerg camp, the outpost. Outpost is done. Gotta make choice. No saving people that don't want to be saved. Looks like that thing got some serious power on it still. Oh, it's a mechanical sentry.
I've always wanted to poke around in here. That's the last of them.
let me out.
Coming!
Get me out of here. So I can boost up intelligence again. I get science too. So this will get to. There we go.
The control room should be ahead somewhere and a touch to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing. We're pretty good at this!
Unexpected sweeping the air.
Incoming! All right?
Dismissed immediately. Finds you wealthy. No fewer than 5 supporters. That's why they brought in the robots. like to leave early for the day. Sell stuff at the vending machine because I'm awesome. Which is cool. Oh, I've got some good stuff here though. Some good junk. Light machine gun, huh? Impact hammer. Already used.
It's not the best job.
This was 215. 320 is better than 215.
In spaces.
Stagger. It's a machine gun. I want a machine gun. Whew. Heavy armor, huh? Light armor. Stealth skill +5. Stealth. -5. Where's the stuff for that package thing? That stuff's expensive. I'll just go with. Let's see here. Sell. What kind of armor do I have? The armor. 17.
It's not the
Got this, it's got 5 right now. Light, heavy. 16. 17. 16 and 17. This is light armor. I already have that. 17. I have 16. So there's no reason to buy that stuff. So this.
best choice. In spaces choice.
3 electric track switches. Okay, gotta activate the switches now.
3 switches. That'll be easy enough.
I'm really serious. Cars with auto mechanicals. First time cams about crazy, lack of self-doubt here. Greetings. Screen lockdown has been initiated. This is not a test you're doing during this lockdown in the future. Please contact with flights or any situations. High school bot of 0 keys.
Sister, thank you. Processing.
Huh, just in case I get on.
Just 2 more. What'll happen to Miss McDevitt's folk if we send power to the Vale?
God. That requires a lot.
Phantom! No, 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 just leave me alone! Get away! You're not real. You're not real. No, 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 just leave me alone! No, 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 just leave me alone! Get away! You're not real! You're not real! Get away from me, Phantom! Shoot! Scram! You can talk? The Phantom's never talked before. I knew I shouldn't have eaten that sprat raw. See? See, Higgins? Of course. Do excuse me. I experience brief flashes of mania during which I am visited by the phantoms of my imagination. Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely not insane. I use it as a reminder. Hard to say. By my reckoning, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer right here in... Jimmy'd open the vending machines. That lasted a good couple of months. Eventually, I had to resort to more unconventional means of filling my insides. Mechanicals lost their bolts. Opened fire on anything that moved. It was pandemonium. You mean, why did the Mechanicals go on a murderous rampage? Same reason any of us do, I suppose. I was on cleaning duty at the time. I specialized in automechanicals, drones, Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the You know, you remind me of myself back when I was an intergalactic adventurer. I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their targeting protocol so they attack each other instead. Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also... There's a that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access the behavior control terminal. Here, let me just write it down for you. The tail. Definitely start with the tail. Mechanicals... I was on cleaning duty.
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded. Nice one! If we send the power to Miss McDevitt, what happens to the room? not sure what the right is. Alls I know is the decision's made. Once we do this, there's no going back. Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow, she's talked the ground into giving life again. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Well, that sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way. Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something. Really? I mean...
She wants me to save the plant. People are nice and all, but... Alright. Gave up on that crappy place. Either way, I would have had to murder my way through everybody. No way of getting around it because cut off power to one and get this power cell from the other. Doesn't make much sense to me.
the thing about growing old. Your eyes start to fail. Elsewise, I would have seen you for the snake that you are, chopped you into pieces and roasted you on a spit. This is all you're doing. Cutting off my power, killing off my garden. Without refrigeration, my food will spoil, and my flock will starve. I want to ask you this in private, away from the eyes of my flock, so they do not see me lose my temper. Tell me, you want my flock wasting their lives in that cannery? Go talk to Grace and Thomas. Look them in the eye and tell them their life here is over, and the only thing left to do is go back to... And you tell Reed Thompson that I will never return to Edgewater. I would rather die among my flowers than live under his management. You offering to cross Reed off, huh? This some sort of twisted reparation for what you've done? Or you just looking for a chance to sow some chaos? Kill Reed if you must, or talk him into leaving if you can. He and I are not sharing. My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started, we had a store of medicine locked away. But Reed refused to treat him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings. Tell Reed that I can make his people healthy again. I can end their plague. Start a new garden right in the cannery. 3 square meals for... Tell him how I've made the vale bloom again. The soil has whispered its secrets to me. The secret is human corpses. I've been grinding them up in my fertilizer for years. Marauder, worker, don't matter much to me. The human body is rich with nutrients. I have got a means to cure the plague, and I will not...
Wow. That's rough.
Everybody keeps staring at me. It's not my fault. Whoa.
Are you, are things...
Great, just great. I've been...
Oh gosh, no,
I've seen you wandering around here. You don't look like you're coming from town. Well, fact is I've been, well... I'll take all the help. You ever...
Those are good. My dad kept...
I know the old community center kept a copy. Should find another one back in town. I wish I knew. I wager the town had the full set once upon a time. Where the third's gone. Would you? I'd be grateful. What's on your mind? Couple months. I owe them my life. Would have died in the wilderness if they hadn't chanced upon me, starving and I've been thinking about going back. I get sick thinking. I mentioned those manuals on mechanical engineering. Suppose if I had one of those, I could go back to Reed and make a...
The matter's been weighing on. Fact is, I can't go anywhere long as Zoe. I go looking for Zoe. It's not like... Can't imagine where she's gone. Could do without the gallows humor. I'll tell you what I can. What is it? I'll tell you what I can. Vex me. Little ways ago. Could be. Danger. Well, enough to know we never got on. Zoe and Stefan were close. She was lazy and thoughtless. What is it?
Alright, so that's that there. One of us want to add water. I think that's easy. Splice as much as I like. I need better splicing. Once I get everything, once I get it to 15, I'll go for splicing.
shoot.
Nice hit! Wow, not even a scratch! Oh! Get past that armor! Mako! Ah! Get past that armor! Everyone all right?
Sell the junk.
It's not the best choice. It's Lisa's choice.
You hiding?
Incoming! You're fast.
Card encoder line is back up and running. Much complaint. Request for one adult. Entire team's perished.
Incoming! Everyone all right?
I need hack, though.
See him again. I'll level up to 5. No way. 60 ranking points already, so that's insane. 25 for the hack.
Any luck finding one of those? No kidding. Really? Well, which one? Look at that. Building a computing machine out of Spectrum potatoes, a primer. I appreciate it. In fact, I put aside something special on the off chance that somebody'd search out those data pads for me. Sure.
Search for Joseph Hughes, line 3 volumes. Jesus, 4 volumes. Get it done. Villainy and deceit.
Huh? You hiding? You scared?
Good job, buddy. I didn't do any of your side quests, but I will. Just because my conscience is main.
This is a fine day, friend. Power flows. I trust Adelaide's people have seen their way to reason. So, when can I expect them back at their posts? Then we are at an end. I am not perfect. I have made my share of mistakes. But I have done my best for... I have been holding this town together with both... I am a Spacer's Choice man. My father was a Spacer's Choice. I don't believe you. Plague's a reality of life. Best treatment is a good work ethic. The very notion is just grotesque. A raw vegetable? What? We are a Spacer's Choice Saltuna cannery. We eat... I don't understand. You say Adelaide's growing her own... The soil's gone sour. Company? You'll excuse me for being skeptical. How exactly is Adelaide growing crops in barren soil? And when you say special fertilizer, you mean what exactly? What a remarkably efficient solution. Recycling Spacer's Choice property long after its date of expiration. I was wondering about those missing bodies in Silas's cemetery. So Adelaide wants me gone. Trade my life for the life of the town. If I leave town, I'm as good as dead. If I stay, Edgewater will die of attrition. Adelaide has discovered some secret cure for the plague, and she is holding my town ransom. If Adelaide's found a way to feed her people and cure the plague, my life here is ended. Give me a little time to settle my affairs. I have always tried to do right by my town. A couple months ago, I might have put in for a transfer. It's a big colony. Spacer's Choice has other towns. Now, no such thing as an honorable resignation. Suppose I could find a place outside the walls, or put in for early retirement.
Alright, so that's at 50. Oh, armor. That's at 50. All my range up to 50. What do I need more of? Science? Medical? Ranged. We'll go with 50 on all this. This gets up there. Once I save the town, I'm probably gonna call it a night when I get to the ship. Let's see if I can get right to the ship. I already have what I need. Just screw off on both these people.
Look at that. The snake's come back. I never thought I'd see the day that Reed Thompson... Suppose it's time our flock made our way back to Edgewater.
Now call me a
We
snake,
must
you
tend to
douche.
what remains of the town and carry on with our lives as best we may. You're vexing to me, you know? Injuring us with one hand, helping us with the other. Here, I'm giving you something to leave us be. It's a ransom, you understand, not a reward. You're telling me you did all this just to put me in charge of Edgewater? I might turn that old cannery into a garden. Got ourselves a whole cemetery. I need some time to gather my personals.
Whatever, bro, Chacho.
What happened? Sprat?
Unreliable. Back to the ship. Use my rifle to get off this plane. Ooh, doggy. Let me give you the first book. Goddamn thing. Oh, I gotta go back and give that guy a book too. Chapter.
Huh?
Look out!
Ah. Why? I know where it is. Map. Show you are. Go to the chap on the eastern side of town. East.
Heard something outside the walls today.
It's a fine... I suppose this means the two of you were able to sort out the matter? The great... Take comfort in the fact that your choices are always, ultimately, in law. Wonderful. What the fuck is this? Is this... French? I can't fucking read French. It's a law-forsaken joke is what it is. French. Ha! I was so high and mighty, preaching to the yokels about following the plan, while fighting it at every turn. Well, yes. I've spent my... I became so desperate, I even got myself assigned to this plague-ridden backwater to find the damn thing. Bakonu, the author, had some Unfortunately, he was also one of the founders of the Philosophist School of Thought, so the book is banned. But most of the philosophy... I had an idea that we should welcome the... And that's how I ended up assigned prison duty, where I was... But that's neither here nor there. What I need to do now is to find a You have a ship. Perhaps I could make myself of use to your crew. Certainly. I'm pretty handy with a tossball stick, or any blunt instrument, really. Oh, fantastic.
Edgewater's gonna miss you.
Thank you, Ms. Holcomb. It is my esteemed pleasure to serve as...
Alright. Building companions. Welcome. Alright, can I... Shit. There we go. Fast travel to landing site. Jump me.
Is this your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome. Does she have a name? Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I'm the only decent mechanic Edgewater's got, but every time I think of going back, I get this sinking feeling. Oh, it's kind of you to... I want to ask you something, and you can say no. And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do... Yes! Captain.
There you go. That wasn't so hard. They show on the road.
Captain, I have detected that Edgewater's power supply is now optimal. I applaud your willingness to invest your time in the What can I do for you, Captain? All systems are operating. I am prepared to bring the unreliable into low-altitude orbit.
Against all odds.
We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic... The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can... You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me, help us, find the chemical. Gladys Culkelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay. Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lost. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar. Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get you a key to Monarch, it's her. Criminal. Plenty of ways to make money in Halcyon, you know. Laughter. Good. Wasn't sure you'd be able to, after so long. Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead before... Look, I admire your optimism. None of us are leaving Halcyon alive, so we may as well... Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're... By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design. Cutting edge. I call it the Holographic Shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters. Excellent. And the board's only interested in filling that...
Transmission ended.
still have space for a bunch more food, I suppose. So, the girl. The girl is already gone as it is, so price is going.
Yeah, so this is my hidey spot now. I was looking for a place that was quiet. I figured the cozy like, ain't it? That's
Accurate in all particulars. I conclude you are Edgewater's board-certified mechanic.
Fly-by-wire's pretty normal. Hello!
Speech recognition is one of the many skills.
You're not simulating it, you're doing it!
I am gratified you consider this facsimile convincing.
I don't see any holes in the hull. I'll take a... You can do that, you know. My dad taught me how to make grilled cheese sandwiches with a plasma torch. Mostly, yeah. I lived in the maintenance office near all of my life. Mr. Thompson... When I got older, he set me to sorting tools. Not all... Mostly, he did the same as me. Kept best. It's not... When I tested out for maintenance, everyone figured it was on account of my dad. There's time... Anyhow, I was happy to get back. I noticed straight away that he was moving slower. Dad never... Oh gosh. Look at the time.
Nice. Skill points available, 10 of them. 1550. Hack is going to take a lot too. A waste. Comfort. Their prices. Now, if I'm stuck, if my stuff's full, I can fast travel over. Alright, I guess that's time for bed, huh? New save. Alright. You guys enjoyed this look into the beginning of the Outer Worlds? Maybe we'll play it again.